So this is gonna be another Asia session trade recap, and I actually took two trades on gold because ES and NQ were they didn't really reach the levels I wanted to. Um, so coming into gold during the Asia session, um, I initially was bearish to previous ELO because using the previous week volume profile, um, on Tuesday we came up or came down and ran that point of control of the previous week, and then used it right here as we broke through it. We broke and retested it, used it as resistance to some price lower. So then obviously my higher time narrative is going to be, it's going to continue to stay bearish until we hit this next level down here, which we haven't hit. But still, the narrative was bearish, and then coming into Asia session, I was a little bit like skeptical because a previous New York session volume profile was pretty rangy. Like it didn't give me like a good indication on where price wanted to go, but I still wanted to see shorts at least, to here or to scalp within here, which I'll get into in a bit. And for my entry, and look how clean these levels played out right here, or this previous week point of control dictated price, you know, to go down to the downside. But coming into the day, I'm gonna go back so I could go through my thought process during this trade. Um, we opened up here, waited a couple hours to trade so the volume could develop because I didn't really see anything off the previous day levels. But once we got this displacement below the previous day point of control in the overnight value area low, I wanted to see like a break and then retest of this level, and I didn't get in on this initial break right here just because price was didn't have any volume, like the volume was really slow. But during here, after we pumped up and came back right down, as you can see, we literally made zero volume up here. There's nothing up here, so that's an indication that price, doesn't really care about going higher. And we also had this high volume node right here. You could barely see it because of the candles, but we had this high volume node right there. So I wanted to get in on the retest of this high volume node. These two levels that we broke from the previous day, and also this VWAP level right here. You can barely see it, but it's this little gray line. It's the edge of, it's like an anchored VWAP, whatever. It aligned with the rest of my levels, so I got into a short here with one contract, and I placed my stop loss. Like I literally got edged. I think I placed it like around here, so I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, I was in drawdown for majority of this trade in the beginning. I got my stop loss got edged, but this is why stop loss placement is so important. We retested the edge of this high volume node right here. It's always good to place your stop loss above there because things like this could happen. It's not always going to be a perfect top tick or bottom tick. And then after that, once we reached like this level right here, the previous value low, I did go break even, and I started to trail my stop to this high, and then we just kept selling off until we hit my target right there, which was my first trade. And then the second trade I took was a couple hours later after we took out previous A low, and we instantly V-shaped back up. I wasn't really bearish, especially with gold. Once it does this, like when it takes out a previous A low or previous A high, it V-shapes back up, it tends to trend completely to the opposite side. So I wasn't really, interested in shorts that much after that. And I wanted to see how we would react to these levels, a couple hours later when time passed. And right here, it's really hard to see because the price action on gold is terrible today. But we basically get this rally up after taking out previous 8 low, displacing above all these levels, and then, a break and then a retest of this level. And then once we tapped the previous A value area low and VWAP, we continue to push back up. After I saw this, I wanted a little like retest to get in for longs to target the previous day value area high. Literally just break and retest. Like that's all it is. Using like support, quote unquote support and resistance levels that are backed by actual data, which is volume or orders in the market. So it's not just random levels. As you can see right here, like this level, it's not random. It's really choppy. So and there's barely any volume during Asia, So or at this moment, so that's why it looks terrible. But if it was cleaner PA, this would have been like a really clean bottom tick right here. So once we pulled back down, we had this high volume node right here that aligned with all these levels. I literally got in like at the tap of that, and then I think I placed my stop loss like below here or below here, one of those two. And then after we got the retest of that, it was a nice bottom tick. We didn't tap these levels, so it's good that I got in right here. I didn't get edged, and then we just completely pumped to this level up here. M and Q actually hit the previous value area high. The levels are a little bit different on the M and Q, or M on the micros than like the minis, so I like to look at both just in case. And then once we hit that, I got out like right before we retraced. But overall, it was still like pretty clean trades during Asia session on gold. And gold is like super volatile. Like it's so fucking like, look at this shit, bro. Even though it looks hella choppy, when you trade minis, this move was $1,000. This stop loss was $400. Like it's just super volatile. And whenever gold decides to choose a direction, it will absolutely just run, like we did right here. Like, okay, we took out previous AO, and then we decided, okay, we want to like reverse from here. Bro, we're not gonna go any lower. We're barely gonna have any retracements. This was a pretty nice retracement, I'm not gonna lie. That's why I'm saying PA was pretty decent, because even though we got these big moves, we did get some retracements, especially to these levels. And now honestly, I'm pretty bullish. We just took our previous low, and we completely just pumped through all the levels that I had here from the previous sessions. So in my opinion, this is my down liquidity at the moment. And then once we tap the point of control, I want to see how we react here, whether we just consolidate here until we choose a direction, or we tap into this and then V-shape back down. Then I'm gonna look for shorts, or if we displace above it completely, then I'm gonna look for retest to then go higher. So that, but like we're literally just ranging. Like this profile is a pretty, there's no P-shaped profile. There's nothing like clean about this. This is just a balanced market right now. We're just consolidating within this range right here. So it's just time to wait. I'm not gonna take any of the trades, but that was pretty much it for today.